Dalton Dowdy of Duval County was born in Cordele, Georgia. He grew up outside of town on the family farm established by his grandfather, where they raised cattle and hay. He was active in FFA, even singing tenor in his FFA quartet and receiving the Green Hand degree from the East Crisp FFA chapter, the high school he graduated from. After high school, he declined a full basketball scholarship to the University of Georgia, and in 1952 moved his family to Jacksonville. He married his wife Claire in 1955. They've been married for 63 years and have 2 children, Patty and Jeff, and 4 grandchildren. Mr. Dowdy owned a junkyard for 25 years, and during that time he developed a passion for many hobbies that would follow him throughout his life, including his team of mules he would take to special events and also ride mule wagon trains that would be several days long in wagons that he had restored. He worked for over 20 years for Southeast Milk Cooperative with many responsibilities, including managing their quality control testing and sharing his expertise on providing ways to ensure the members of the cooperative had the necessary resources to be more sustainable during times when milk prices were low. In 1995, Dowdy began his service on the Duval County Farm Bureau Board. He served as vice president and president, and also served on the state board for over 10 years from 2006 to 2017.
Dalton is helpful in anything you ask him for. I have many times driven up to his farm and people would be there. He would be working, but he would stop when people dropped by and do whatever needed to be done.
Dowdy's kindness and service to his community was intertwined with a number of organizations, including the Duval County 4-H Foundation, the Greater Jacksonville Agricultural Fair Advisory Board, the Jacksonville County Agricultural Council, and the Cattlemen's Association.
Many times I've heard the story from him several times that when he was a young boy growing up in Cordele, Georgia, that they didn't have a lot of money. So they had someone that paid his way to go to summer camp. And if it had not been for that kind individual that paid his way, he would not have been able to attend, and he really said that changed his life, was the ability, and I think that's where he gets his passion to help other people from. And many times sitting in 4-H Foundation meetings, when it came up that we've got kids that can't go to camp and they need money, they need scholarship money, Dalton found a way to make it happen.
In 2015, Mr. Dowdy was presented the prestigious Mayor's Agricultural Leadership Award by Jacksonville Mayor Lenny Curry. Many friends and colleagues note his natural ability to keep a meeting on course.
He brought a lot of wisdom to those meetings. He was a real common sense man, and he had that knack for being a peacekeeper.
I think Mr. Dalton's legacy in Northeast Florida has a lot to do with his willingness to listen to folks and take lots of different ideas and suggestions and kind of morph it into something that works for everyone. And I think as an individual who works with multiple boards of directors and has lots of different issues to address based on county needs, he was able to serve his constituents well by being able to synthesize all of those issues and problems, bring them to the state board to try to find solutions for our farmers in this area.
Mr. Dowdy is also a master craftsman. His business, Dalton's Wheel and Buggy, allowed him to fix and restore carriages and wagons far and wide. His attention to detail and true talent and skill garnered him attention from historic district buggy companies, and he is known as being a quality craftsman within the Amish communities of Ohio and Indiana. Most notably, he worked on carriages for Anheuser-Busch and Walt Disney.
He rebuilt Walt Disney's personal stagecoach for their 100th anniversary, and he also rebuilt one of Anheuser-Busch's wagons.
And you wouldn't know Mr. Dowdy if you didn't mention his ability to cook boiled corn.
Dalton's got a knack for cooking boiled corn, and I started out helping him cook the corn. And we'd cook it at our spring cookout, and we'd cook corn to feed the cattle exhibitors at the fair. And everybody looked forward to it, and it turned out to be a big thing.
Mr. Dowdy is a man of faith, being called one of the best Sunday school teachers ever.
His family is the one that started our family even going to church, because at that point we were kind of unchurched folks, and they made it sound like so much fun that we started going with them, and eventually my whole family joined the church with them, and faith became a big part of my life, and in my family's life, and in my family's life. So, I mean, he kind of started the fire that still burns.
As Baker County Farm Bureau President Robert Norman said, "I have worked to not only make our Farm Bureau successful, but to make Mr. Dowdy proud. He is the kind of man that brings out the best in all who are blessed to know him." Dalton Dowdy, through character, service, and genuine love for his fellow man, leaves a mark that only a craftsman like he could make.
I think Mr. Dalton, one of the words that comes to mind when I think about him always is character. And as leaders, motive matters. And when he speaks, people know that his motives are pure and true, and that he has the best interest of the ag industry at heart. So he's a man of few words, but when he speaks, people listen.
He's a craftsman of the first order and does wonderful work.
I don't think there's anybody in this community that's better loved than him. I mean, by my family and everybody I know.
He's just been a good, dear friend for a long time, and he's been a good Christian man for as long as I've known him, and he's one of them friends that you can count on one hand.
The countless hours that I've spent with him at the buggy barn, those memories that I'll treasure.
Dalton Dowdy, 2018 Florida Farm Bureau Distinguished Service Award recipient.